If she time, short drill, bust it bars, yeah, some money. She keep me coming to the bed. Run me, just make over here. Not afraid, don't keep it. Push, nobody feels kush. I can't breathe without my enemy. Hey, you can believe all I ever seen. Hey, try my hood in the sleeper. After we finish out sleeping. For what it is, legally young. Yeah, black, brown, every day. But a face now. Stay back, but happy Thanksgiving, everybody. This is Yetta from Stiff Coat Podcast. You are now tuning in to the very first debut. We got Mama B in the background. And our mission statement is we want to reach the people that's in the music industry that want to be artists. Anybody that's talented, anybody that got some creative ability. And we just want to be a backbone for you guys, somewhere you can reach out to. Say hello, Mrs. B.
Hi, everyone. Just excited to be here. We have Yetta, and we want to just discuss a lot of little things that will just open eyes to the rap game.
And what about the rap game with you that you like?
Well, I mean, I have a respect for all music. I think that there's a lot of misconceptions about the rap game and how people come about in the rap game. And I'm here to open up the doors and allow people to hear a respected person as yourself, to allow them to know a little bit more about it. I respect the rap game. I'm not into a lot of the rap where a lot of young ladies and things are defamed or talking about a lot of things, but good rap is good rap.
I agree.
So I want to first, Yada, I want to talk about what's your beginning in rap. When did you have felt like that you had a need to rap about things to rap about?
You want me to go straight to the beginning?
You was talking about when your mother died and you was in the hospital.
Yeah. So I was 14 years old. My mom was at MD Anderson and she had leukemia. That's cancer. That's fluid in the lungs. Fast forward, on her deathbed, I say like 2 or 3 hours before she passed away.
You
started writing.
Okay. I mean, have you been a person that wrote poetry, or was that your first introduction to express your feelings at that time after your mother's death?
Well, I started off with poetry. Actually, I started off in choir. I used to, I've been a Christian baby my whole life. But in middle school, I started off with poetry, which I'm like an audio painter. Like, I can say things with my words and paint a visual picture. You know what I mean? Like how art should be. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Where it's like, I use my expression to describe something in detail to where it's like you could see it yourself. And when my mom passed away, that's when I started writing about her passing away. And then I realized that a lot of my music was depressing. And I listened to T.I., Drake, and the Migos, and Justin Timberlake and Timbaland. And all of those people, they influenced me. Like, Drake influenced me enough to be vulnerable.
because I was already vulnerable. My mom passed away. You can't get no more vulnerable than that. You know what I mean? But he let me know that the world accepted vulnerability in a song. T.I. let me know that you could be proper. You know, you don't gotta be hood, or you don't gotta be like derogative to be accepted either. And you know, T.I. made classical music. Like, he made not necessarily classical, but he made music that crosses the boundaries of. And then Offset from the Migos, you know, he gave me a rhythm and a cadence to keep people hype.
Okay.
So, like, those artists influenced me, and then I got to the point where I was recording at my crib and the sound wasn't coming out right. I didn't like how I was sounding. I would sound good, but it didn't sound good. Like, my voice was under the bass, so you couldn't really hear what I was saying in the song. So I'm just trying to figure it out. So I ended up going to college. I ended up dropping out of college because the professor wasn't trying to answer my questions. He was like, "You're too advanced, blah, 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 blah." And I'm like, okay. So fast forward, I worked at this J. Prince sister company called Mile High Media. I worked under Frank and Mato. Well, I ended up becoming the best engineer in Houston, and that caused a lot of drama for me. So I had to leave because, like, I had a lot of people looking for me. And, you know, if I wasn't necessarily signing a contract with their company, then I'd be in danger. You know what I mean? That's how crooked the industry can be. If you're that good and you're making some money with someone else and not with these people take that as a threat. That's just like in certain cultures, if someone gives you a gift and you turn it down, that's offensive. You know what I mean? So, you know, I left, I fled, I went back to my house with my grandma, and then I took everything that I learned from being professional at the studio and I brought it home. So I spent 3 years, I recorded 111 songs, and then, you know, I got approached by certain people, and I didn't necessarily move forward with them, and all hell broke loose. So it's like I was under attack, and I also got blacklisted from the industry because I didn't sign a deal. Blacklisted means don't work with this person. Like, that's telling all the record labels not to work with this person. You know what I mean?
Right. Okay, what were some of your struggles as a child, you know, coming up, and the fight that you have now, you taking things to another level? What are some of your struggles and that kept you stronger to follow your dreams? Give us a little bit, talk about a lot of your childhood struggles coming up, and we'll go into the type of rap, you know, that you feel like that's, you know, part of you, the type of rap. Are you understanding what I'm saying?
Yeah. So, as a child, I was sexually assaulted by a lot of women. Yeah. At least about like 7, from like 6 up to 12 years old. I ended up getting like a lot of money from it one time because she was like a grown woman, and I got like 30 bands from it.
When you say sexually assaulted, was that like a rape? Or?
Yeah. Yeah, I was 12. She was 45. She was my after school care person that watched over the kids. And then it was a private school. So it'll be after school, we go to extended care. She was the extended care teacher. And then on Tuesdays, it'd go from extended care get out at 6, church start at 7, because it was a private school at the same church. You know, so it's like you'll come and go back to the same school for church, you know. That was a private school. So one day, she light skinned. I had to thank for light skins, probably still do. And she's walking up the steps because I'm telling them the audio is messed up, right? Like as a kid, I just had to think with audio. I'm telling them the audio's messed up. So she walks me upstairs to the audio room above the church. So I'm like, she's walking up. I'm staring at her butt while she walks up. You know, you know what I mean? She walking up ahead of me. I'm just like staring at her butt. And I'm like a little baby. I'm like 12 years old. And I'm like, I like you. She's like, what? No, you don't. And I'm like, nah, I really like you. And she's like, what'd she say? I think she said, prove it or something. So I'm like, what? And then like she kisses me. Like her mouth is like this big, and my mouth is little. Her mouth is like this on my face. You know what I'm saying? She kisses me and she's like, my nose is wet. So I'm like, ew, you know what I mean? But I made a move on her, and then like afterwards we walked. She was like, don't tell nobody, blah 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 blah. And I'm like, we good? I ain't gonna tell nobody.
Was that exactly the kiss, or
that was just the kiss?
That's the beginning.
That was just the kiss, and then it got to a point where later on she came back around to me and she was like, yeah, you know, I would take you to my house, but it's dirty right now. I'm like, I don't care about no mess. You know what I mean? I'm like, I don't care about no mess.
What was on your mind when you made that statement?
Smashing. Oh, no. That was on my mind. I ain't gonna lie to you. Okay. My teeth look a little yellow. But yeah, so that's what was on my mind at the time. And
were you already sexual active, or?
Yeah, I was sexually active around 5 to 6 years old. I was 12 then, so I already knew what sex was.
At 5 and 6 years old?
Yeah. Yeah, it was a little rough childhood, but long story short, so she picks me up from daycare, take me to the crib, bam boom bada, take me back. I feel guilty. The Holy Spirit hit me.
So y'all had sex?
Yeah, full blown 3 times.
Was she able to show you how to have sex?
I already knew what I was doing. How
do you feel about that? I mean, this was with your first grown person?
Yeah, my first grown woman.
Okay. So when you was younger, it was a male that introduced you to sex?
No.
Followed you? You said
No.
your first grown woman.
Yeah, every time that I had sex early, it was with girls that were older than me. I ain't never been touched by a man.
Okay.
Yeah. So I already knew what I was doing. And then, like, long story short, I felt guilty. Like, she took me back to church. Holy Spirit hit me. And I'm like, oh, I'm never doing that again. Blah, 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 not doing that again. Then she calls me back. She's like, hey, let's do it again. Blah, 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 blah. I'm like, nah, I'm good, right? And then let's just say from then on, my whole childhood growing up was extremely hypersexual. I've been extremely hypersexual my whole life. Now, that turns into my mom catching me. My mom found out that me and this grown woman had sex.
What did she say to you?
She started crying. Because I kept it a secret for almost a year.
And how did she find out?
I'm in class.
Mm-hmm.
And mind you, it's a small school. It's like a church school.
Mm-hmm.
My teacher is the principal's son. No, my teacher is the principal. My teacher's the principal. It's that small. His father owns the whole school.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm telling my teacher, I'm like, he mentioned sex or something like that. And I'm like, I ain't no virgin. You know, I'm big ego.
Mm-hmm.
Ego hitting me. So I'm like, I ain't no virgin. He's like, well, who's the other person? Their parents gotta know, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, parents? She grown. He said, what? I said, oh, snap. I said, oh, snap. I done snitched.
Wow.
And I tried to hide it. I tried to keep her identity.
Did he try to force you to tell?
Yeah, they forced me to tell. Yeah, they highly forced me to tell. I mean, cause it was.
Did you tell him it was a teacher at school? Did you give him any leave?
Yeah, I ended up telling them, and then it just got real awkward for everybody because it's a church school, it's a Christian school, and I was a kid. You know, I wasn't in the wrong, but it just got awkward for everybody. So I ended up stopping going to church with them, and she got fired. She ended up going to jail. Years later, my mom dies. 3 years after that,
Oh, she did go to jail behind that particular situation with you?
I think she did. And then I got awarded like $30,000. I don't know if it was from the church or if it was from her or what. So, and then I got adopted. So my family, I was born in jail. I was literally born in jail.
Okay.
And because my mom was in jail. It was probably a good thing because she probably wouldn't have had me with all the drugs she was on if she wasn't in jail.
Your biological mother was a drug addict.
Heavy.
Could I ask you, you said you were born in jail. You also stated that you were adopted. Could you tell us how long did you stay with your mom and when you became adopted?
How long did I stay with my adopted mom?
Biological mother.
I never was with my biological mom. So my adopted mom took my biological grandmother from Austin to Galveston to pick me up from Galveston Hospital. Because I was born in jail. They took her to the hospital. My adopted mom was friends with my family before I was born.
Okay.
So she knew my family before I was even born.
Okay.
And when I was born, I didn't even cry. The doctor spanked me, and then I cried. And then she said when I opened my eyes, my adopted mom was the first woman I looked at.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and she's on my music on SoundCloud. Like, it says a picture of her on my SoundCloud. So to tie into your other question, which is the type of music that I make, well, I started making music for real, when I started hearing the stuff on the radio, and I didn't like what I was hearing. I remember Laffy Taffy came out, and my mom was like, "Oh, we're gonna play some 70s rock." You know what I mean? Like, she was like, she literally stopped letting me listen to the radio at like age like 8 years old. That's when Laffy Taffy came out, I stopped listening to rap music. So I'm listening to Sting, Police, Roxanne. I'm listening to just all the old classics, right? So I'm listening to Sade. I'm listening to all of that. So all of that ended up tying in with the music I make now. So it's like, imagine an old school vibe with the new school feel, but I'm talking about things that people need to hear in order to heal. You know?
So your rap deals with a lot with healing of the soul. You more or less deal with. Are you still in the process of healing a lot of things that you've gone through?
I'm healed. I'm healed. If anything, I got to get my body back where it used to be. Because in high school, when I worked out, I had an amazing body. You know, I still have the same genes, but I got to get back to that point. So my spirit is healed. My mind is healed. Everything I went through is all healed. I forgive everybody for what happened. If you listening to this, I forgive you, bro. Or female, I forgive y'all. It's whatever. It helped me grow. You know what I mean? It helped me get to the point where I'm at now. And I learned that even though somebody stepped on me at one point or, you know, tried to play me because I was a little different, all of that.
What made you feel, I mean, because you're expressing that you have gone through a lot of sexual trauma. Were you able to heal release everyone at one time? When did you realize that it was time to move on and heal? What made you feel like that? You know, I need to release these people.
Well, I always put my music first, right? So every time I give somebody a chance to be in my life, and they would show their true colors and show me that they weren't for me, then that's when I give myself room to move on. I give myself the mental space to be like, okay, well, I'm gonna do what I gotta do. Like, you still sitting here, I'm not gonna be here. I'm not gonna keep sitting here. If you wanna sit here and deal with the random people that walk by and live life like that, that's fine. But I got a goal. I got a goal, and I gotta go and move forward to where I'm headed. And to answer your question, that's how I would not linger on certain women. You know what I mean? Like, even when it comes down to my family, my baby mama, I had to literally separate us because she just was being toxic. You know what I mean? We have a daughter. We have a beautiful daughter. Everything that I did to make sure my daughter didn't get adopted, and she was still being toxic and manipulative. And I just got to the point where I had to let her go in order for my daughter to have a mother. So, you know, there's a song that I got, and it's called Pussy Ass Niggas. And I don't mean to curse, but it's basically talking about I can't love you more than I love myself.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I can't love you more than I love myself because I've been in that situation before. And when I love you more than I love me, I'm literally allowing anything to happen to me.
I hear a lot of things. What you're saying, we went from a lot of sexual abuse as a child, and then we've gone into dealing with females, your female lovers, and what I had asked was, when you traumatize and traumatize and traumatize, I need to know, or we need to know, how were you able to release all of this trauma, or do you feel like it's still buried? Because I'm listening to your childhood sexual experiences, and then the experiences of females rejection. What are you doing with this trauma? Because trauma is not something you can sweep up under the rug.
Well, think about it like this. My mama died. So there's nothing more traumatic than that. You know what I mean?
And how did you deal with her death? What was your beginnings after your mother passed, on the road to healing?
Well, it really took to understand that the next person was my grandmother, because my mom was gone, and then my grandmother started attacking me. She took her anger, she took her sadness out on me. And in order for me to heal, it took me breaking off from my grandmother.
Do you feel your grandmother rejected you because of her daughter's death?
I feel like she casted shame on me, which she did, you know? And she would try to make me feel her pain. Any form, any fashion. No matter what I did to get on my feet, she would do something to stop it. Or if I didn't do something how she would want me to do it, she would make it harder for me to do it. And then she would call me names like bum. She would call me derelict. You know, like, you know, I got a 5-bedroom house and I'm homeless. You know what I mean? Like, just this stuff, like dealing with situations like that, you know, having my money, but not giving.
How did you process, how long were you with your grandmother, first of all? And second of all, how did you process the rejection part, dealing with your grandmother calling you names? How did you process? And you find that you found that somewhere down the line it was time to separate from grandma. How did you process the rejection your grandmother took you through?
Well, it got bad. It got bad.
Were you sad all of this time? Were you sad? Was everything just unbelievable? Were you afraid of people? I mean, it's a lot of stuff you have gone through to be able to look at people now. Did you trust anybody?
It was a lot that I was dealing with. And the only thing I trusted was music and getting high.
Okay, you dabble in drugs. That was
the only way for me to cope, to be honest, at that time.
Okay.
You know, and
because that was pretty heavy. I had to see where you funneled your trauma, and you funneled it through drugs. Okay.
Yeah.
And you found drugs as an escape to what?
No, I found drugs as like a coping mechanism. You know, I did all types of drugs. I did them all, to be honest. And each drug gave me a different cognitive response. You know, weed made me lazy, but it made me relaxed. Ecstasy made me kind of want to party, feel sexual. Coke just gave me a little rush, but that was it. It went away quick. Hard was a quick high, but I studied a lot from hard. And I was like, why do I feel good, but I can't feel like this when I'm sober? Why? So I studied that. And then I went from that to ice. And ice, I was like, whoa, I feel good for a long period of time. You know, the same feeling that I got from hard was it was longer, it was more potent, and I could accomplish things. So that's when I started recording a lot of music.
So you were writing music during this time you were on drugs.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I think most of the music all of the music I've recorded, I was on it. Yeah, um, yeah.
So you felt like the drug helped you reach your like sixth sense, or somewhere
I feel like
you tapped
the
out.
drug made me stop thinking, and it made me step into it. Like when I'm sober, well then, now I can manage how I manage. But when I was sober, I would analyze everything, and then I would hesitate. And then if I were to rap fast, my body, my mouth wouldn't even be able to move as fast as my brain would process things. So while I was on it, I would be able to rap at the same time that the words would come to my mouth.
Okay.
So it's like it would speed up my body to where my body would move faster at the same pace that my brain would. So yeah, that's how I coped. That's how I coped with it, because it was like when I was put in hard situations, in situations that, not many people get out of. You know what I mean? That drug helped me stay alert. It helped me not fall asleep. It helped me look over my shoulder. It helped me fight. Like, I'm not really a violent person, but I have been in the music industry for a minute, so I do know when something ain't right. You know what I mean? And when to move around, or when to, not be sleep on the job. You know what I mean? So yeah, so that
You're going from here. You dealt with females and some bad experiences. Do you feel that you're growing? Have you grown from a lot of your bad experiences with females? Were any songs that are raps that you made, was it involving any of your breakups?
yeah, I got this track called "Run It Up on Me." I'll show you real quick.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Hey, life is priceless. I am not the one to go back to someone that ran it over me. Tried to break me down, tried to make me leave my motherfucking town. Shorty tripping, trying to control me too. Shorty tripping, shorty you jealous. Shorty you insecure for me, you way too insecure for me. Shorty you tripping, shorty you jealous. I just thought I would care more, but now I noticed I can't listen. Me, you tripping, bitch. This ain't no playing games. Now this is my fucking life. And we ain't fucking last. Hey, life is priceless. I am not the one to go back to someone that ran it over me. Tried to break me down, tried to make me leave my motherfucking town. Who knew you would put a spell on me? Fuck that. I've been through a lot of situations.
Do you remember the lady that you wrote that about?
No, I don't even remember.
Okay. Well, I say that the way the world is going, we have a lot of young kids coming up. Could you tell me that? Do you believe that a lot of kids, especially growing up maybe in the poverty communities, here in Houston, we have the Kenny homes, Kelly courts, and different things. How do you feel about the offenders that sexually offended you? And what do you think about young kids that haven't been heard, their voice haven't been heard, that people have offended them? Was anybody ever prosecuted during the time all of your abuse? Is anybody was prosecuted and went served time?
That grown woman.
That one teacher.
Yeah.
Okay. So what do you feel that young boys or girls should do when they have had sexual abuse in their lives? We want to address to a lot of young kids out there that may be looking up to you. What should they do if they run into someone sexually abuse them? What are the things that they should do?
Okay, this is what you do. You make sure that you get out of there safely. You don't let them know that you're going to inform anyone else. You keep that closed. Don't tell them you're going to tell somebody. Just get out of there safely. Once you get out of there safely, try to get to a phone. First thing you do is call 911. But make sure that guy or woman doesn't know where you live. Try not to let anybody know where you live. Keep where you live private. And try to keep your family private, so these people don't try to threaten your family. Right? You get out of there safely. You inform the police. You deal with that first. And then you tell your parents.
Do you think kids need counseling after such traumatic experience, sexual abuse? Do you think it's important that kids are counseled, because that's very traumatic to be abused by anyone, but especially grown-ups?
Well, to be honest, I was counseled, and it didn't really help me.
It didn't?
No, it didn't help me. Because at the same time, I wasn't telling the counselor
everything.
Yeah. You know what I mean? I wasn't telling her what happened. Like, my grandma kept sending me to these counselors, but at the same time, I didn't feel like I had a problem. But
yeah. You can be traumatized and abused and misused and not have a problem. Somewhere you must have buried it in the back of you. You've been traumatized. Your body, someone touched your body that was not supposed to do it. So you saying that you didn't think you had a problem. Maybe you hadn't recognized it or you wanted to deal with it, but you has been sexually abused. Someone has touched you and done things to you that should not have been done. And so I say this to say, you navigate through life and you see where you are today and see where you're going. But, we know our past has a lot to do with our present. And also, this is going to tie into the type of music that you make and why you make it, because there are different types of raps. Is that true? Is that different levels of rap, or what I say, types of raps, or how do you say that? How people rap?
Different genres.
Okay, so different genres. And you fall into what?
Um,
Hurt, a lot of hurt, painful, sad music.
so I came up with my own genre of music. I came up with a title for it because like I don't really think there's a title for my genre, and it's called authentic, not authentic, but authentic. It's like my my ghetto way of saying I'm so true to myself that you can feel it. Authentic. You know what I mean?
Okay. Do you, do you know who were your first close, someone that you trusted as a friend? Do you know who it was? Can you kind of recall who you really one day decided to trust? Uh, because it takes a long time when you've been abused, molested, or
I got to this day, I got
your first friend that you felt like
my first friend,
that you trusted.
Josiah. I met him at the same time I met that lady in school. We went to the same school.
Is that right?
Yeah. And y'all share the same last name.
Is that right?
Yeah. And he's been my friend ever since. When I was going through stuff with my baby mama and I cut my arm, I slipped my arm. And he ended up picking me up, taking me to the hospital. You know what I mean? Like, he was there through all of my like psych ward moments. He was there through all of my baby mama drama. He was there through it all. You know what I mean? And I even called him when I moved in. When I moved in to the mansion, like he was like the first person I called. And he was like, "Bro, I'm proud of you." Blah 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 blah. And he's gonna see it all the way through until to wherever God take me. You know what I mean?
He's your
And
friend today.
yeah,
Wow. So that's a number of years now.
yes, cause it's been I went to that school since 2004,
Wow.
so it's been about 20 years.
Wow. That's excellent.
Yeah,
And he's your true friend today.
yeah, and he honestly still motivates me from a distance. You know what I mean? Because it's like he's married, and it's like, okay, he got a great marriage. He got 3 kids now. I think he got 3. I think he got 3 kids. And I'm single, and I've had phenomenal women, and it's just like, okay, God got us on different paths.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right, correct.
He got us on different paths, but he's a true Christian.
Okay.
And I'm a true Christian. You know what I mean? So it's like God, it's just God showing God. It's like there's two different types of Christians. There's Christians that, follow the path and then live like that. And then there's Christians that make the path
Okay.
and be amongst the sinners and do like Jesus did. There's Christians that follow Jesus strictly, and there's Christians that follow Jesus but do like Jesus did. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So, we're like, I'm the do what Jesus did, and he's the follow Jesus.
Well, I think we all, you carry the name of Jesus. That we're in transition. Some people, in transition means that I may not be where you are, but I'm still a follower of Jesus. And the more you surrender your life and more you surrender over to God, you will move closer to the Lord and get on the path that he's calling you to do it. So that's very good to hear that you really still had a person that you trust. That's pretty powerful that you have someone in your life, even as today, that you truly trust and call your friend. Because I'm sure you have had people in your life that you may have thought that you have trusted before and they failed you. Is that correct? Is there people that or do you easily call people your friend? Are you a person that easily befriend people and you attach themselves as friends?
Well, let's put it like this.
Something failed you and you attach yourself to.
Let's put it like this. Tune in for our next episode of Stiff Code Podcast to hear our discussion on friends. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Happy Thanksgiving. Happy holidays. I'll see you next time.